This is R. Allen, and today we are conducting a Chez Noir Color of Chocolate 2 review. Chez Noir is a early 30s Buffalo-born grimy underground MC. Chez Noir has been actually putting out mixtapes for almost 10 years now. She was signed by 38 Special in 2018. Chez Noir has actually been around for a while. It's great to see Chez Noir being Chez Noir because she is the femc of the new era. Her and Love the Genius, who is also on this album, are probably unless you count Rhapsody, who is a little more known and been around a little longer, but like she may be, along with Love the Genius, and maybe Doshi, they might be like the trifecta of the best femcs in the game right now. And she proves it on this album. Painting Class starts off with her reflecting on her art and using her art as a means of self-expression. This first track is a great opener and tone setter for the album. It is a reflection of her using her art as self-expression and how she needs it. There is some braggadocious behavior here. Rappers think they see in me. I call them schizophrenic. So you've got stuff like that going on. My pen a paintbrush, words come out the color chocolate. She's just flexing her ability to express herself. Super, super, super dope. Now, Vibe vs. Cell absolutely shook me when I heard it. It is some of the best storytelling I've heard in a while, except for maybe Slick Rick on Victory, which I also reviewed. If you haven't checked that out, I suggest you go do so. This is storytelling at its finest. Like 100%, this is storytelling at its finest. The first verse depicts an addict who is struggling with using drugs. The second verse is about a dealer who is struggling with selling drugs. Both parties want to quit, but they're having a hard time, right? Because that's what addiction is. It's juxtaposing two different sides of the same coin. The allure of money, fast money in particular, being able to buy things you want, feeling financially secure, these are things that come with drug dealing, just as addicts feel more emotionally secure, or perhaps they feel euphoric, and that euphoria sort of negates whatever depression or sadness that they have in their life, right? So we've got the addict and the dealer, both of which struggle with addiction, both of which are trying to quit. Now, the addict ends up relapsing. The dealer ends up relapsing. The addict ends up dead. The dealer ends up in prison. This is wild. These types of things do happen. But the difference is that people don't make songs about this shit. They don't. People don't make songs about this. And Shay is I'm not going to call her a beautiful storyteller. I'm going to call her a gorgeous storyteller. She psychoanalyzes her characters as she's telling the stories. It's not just the physical of what happens. It's the psychology behind what's happening. And that gives her writing a layer of depth that I actually think separates her from not just other female rappers, but other artists, period, of any gender in any genre. I don't hear this kind of storytelling everywhere. This isn't just some girl with a cool song. This is Chez Noir being Chez Noir at her very best. This is dope. Fire, 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 fire ass song. Next one on here is Who's the Greatest? Right? Now, Who's the Greatest is Shay being extra braggadocious. This is her barring up about being the greatest and about what greatness is to her. And then we have a feature by Elzhi, who he specifically provides examples of greatness. Personal favorite line on the song is Elzhi saying the greatest don't abandon their daughters. And I really, really like that he says this, because if you know Shay's story, you know that she comes from a broken home and she went through a lot as a kid, right? she puts that pain into her music. So by Elza saying this on her song specifically, I think it gives the song an extra layer of emotion if you know her story. Just two great lyricists trading bars, proving why they are great themselves, while also musing upon what greatness is to them from different perspectives. Show and Tell came out this buffalo mud with the noose as a weapon. That line itself is proof I'm a legend. Fire, 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 fire. Shay speaks on how people thought she was signed, what was happening with her independently. The multi-syllables are everywhere on this track, both for her and Love. They're both rapping at a very, very high level. And it's essentially a song just about saying, like, I'm not just going to tell you how great I am, I'm going to show you. The production is a little experimental, but I like it. It's still boom bappish. It's different. There's a certain boom bappish vibe on this whole project, but it's Shay did a lot of the production on here, so she's just super talented. The next track on here is Where You Go. And this is probably the song that grabbed me the fastest, based on the sample that's here. Queen Millennia soundtrack sample from a song called Angel Queen by Dara Sudoku. Sudoku puzzles? I don't know. Fire sample. I actually went back and listened to the original song. I'd never heard it, but I was struck by the sample. And so I went back and I listened to it, and it's it's just a very interesting choice for a sample, honestly. I think this one really is just about Shay finding her way, making it through the pitfalls. She had to make it through in order for her to be positioned. In order for her to be where she is now, I think that, as in most cases, we have to fall, sometimes. I think that in life, we often are faced with adversity and strife and turmoil and pain, and we get angry. This one's got stripped back drums. The sample is perfectly blended. I think that in life, we often go through certain things to develop a certain degree of strength, because our lives have been prepared to face some type of thing that is so great that it requires a lot of strength. I think that's why some of the most successful people are also people who have faced some of the most adversity. I think Shay is a great example of this. She's truly a great personification of the American dream. Like, she comes from nothing, and this is a meditation on how she got here and what she had to go through. My favorite bar on this is, being smart isn't just about being book smart, it's decision making. Often people confuse intellect with education. They are not the same thing. You can look at a book and just memorize a thing and think that you're smarter than people. But what can you do with that information? How quickly did you process that information? How quickly did you memorize it? How quickly can you regurgitate it? Do you understand it? That's intellect versus just education. And a lot of not so bright people will often memorize all these facts about life, animals or astronomy or physics even, and they think that these things make them smart, when in all actuality, anyone can memorize a piece of information. And she's making that distinction here, and I think that's a very astute observation by Shay. Left in an environment where my mental health was exploited. If you know her story, she does come from a lot of trauma. I'm glad that she is being vulnerable. She's always been vulnerable, or at least everything that I've heard from her. But she's always been super vulnerable and emotional in her music. That she's not afraid to talk about real life stuff. and I give her the utmost credit for that. Blink Twice is just about being fucked over by people, betrayal, essentially. There's some good lines on here, more piano, boom bap, drums, bass. Evidence has a feature on here, a dope feature. The Shay gets a little emotional here. Around, I think it's the 120 mark. I noted that her voice raises to a higher pitch. She gets sort of emotional in a different sort of way than I'm accustomed to hearing her. Penny for my thoughts, all intellect when I spit these dimes. It gave me that it factor. Guess I was Pennywise. Firebar. Stories is just more about her life. Pieces of her life sort of woven into one song. She mentions drinking multiple times in this. Clearly, she has struggled with drinking as a coping mechanism. Spoken about addiction being in her family. She actually mentions that on the first track here. This is not my favorite beat on the album. It's probably my least favorite of all of them, production-wise. But it's still a great song. It's still Shay being raw and emotional. She doesn't really have the ability to make bad songs, I don't believe. She speaks on her mother calling at some point, telling her that her grandfather had cancer. So this is just trauma. I found the vocal layering here to be super well executed. It is not something you see as much today, but she utilizes this technique quite well. I appreciated that because I think it adds a layer of depth to the vocals. New Beginning is a closer. It features a guy named Son Little, and I don't know who that is myself. I'll be honest, but I don't know who Son Little is, but I like the hook quite a bit. One of the most poignant lines on this entire album talks about her uncle being locked up and then getting out and being killed shortly thereafter, and him having a baby on the way, pregnant girlfriend. Now I know what they truly mean when they say life after death, childbirth, and about legacy and living on. And I thought that that was a very poignant closer to the album, being that it's called New Beginnings. And I think this is a new chapter for Shay. I think that she is starting to enter a position in the rap hemisphere where she is being recognized finally. Truthfully, other female rappers don't really want smoke with Shay because she's not just talented, she's like raw and gritty. And so it's like a lyrical like DMX almost, but female. Like I don't know that there's another woman with the same background that has that fierceness and that rage in her combined with the talent to compete in sort of a battle situation. Like I would, if I were female MCs, I would stay away from Shay Noir. All in all, this is a great, great, great album. Shay has proven that she is not only talented, but has poignant things to say. She is a thinker. She is a thinker and a writer and a storyteller and a philosopher. She has incorporated all the best elements of her previous work, I think, into this. And that's not to say Lotus Child isn't still arguably her best work. This is a very short and succinct project. There is no filler here. And this thing is, it is truly a basically flawless EP in my opinion. I wish the absolute best for Shay Noir. If she sees this, know that you got some random people, some random places that support you. I appreciate the vulnerability. I appreciate the insight. I appreciate all of it. So thank you, Shay. I'm going to give the album, I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9. As of now, I would probably give it a 9. This is one of the best projects of the year. No doubt about it. This is just a great, great project. So shout out to her, Griselda, Westside, Benny, 38, all those guys, Conway, all of them, the entire Griselda camp. Dope, fire.
I'm content with each and every loss. They provide my life a purpose. Someone working to address my flaws. Stand on mine, I should never fall.